to the Off-Grid family. Today it's just a quick video which is reviewing the 100 watt torch I made. There's a few problems and there's a few improvements and so on, so I'd like to talk you through it. You know, I'm always quite open about my projects, whether they've gone right or wrong, you know, no matter what. The first thing I'll talk to you about is the epoxy I used. I used a cheap epoxy from the pound store, the dollar store in America, and it was terrible. The bolts that were supposed to hold the feet on, I went to screw one in, just got stuck in the bolt, and the bolt came off free as anything. So I suddenly had a leg connected to a loose bolt. After trying to poke it out from this end and doing all sorts of other things, the glass just fell off. The perspex just fell off, and I was able to take it out that way, and then I had to re-epoxy all of that back on. So my first tip would be use epoxy that's better than I used. You know, spend a couple of pounds on it or whatever, and that'll be better. The same thing with this charging port here. The third time I charged it, it just sunk back into itself, which was because of the epoxy. So all I need to do is epoxy that properly with some proper epoxy, the same stuff I used for this. So that's a couple of negatives. Positives, it works wonderfully. I've used it tons now. It's our go-to torch. We've got a few torches in the house, not very powerful ones in comparison, but they're not used at all now. This is used for it all. My wife was making a model for my son, and it wasn't very bright. She was lying on the floor. I placed the torch like that and put the lampshade I'd shown you on top, just resting, and it was enough light to illuminate the entire area she was working in, and also the battery lasted for the entire model, which was probably over an hour of her doing it. So that's another good thing. Bad thing, the vent I used on this is still a bit spiky in places. All I need to do is give it another hammer down just to get it so that it's completely round rather than the like hexagonal kind of effect that it's here. So I'll hammer that out a bit flatter. One thing I've noticed is I can actually unscrew this and take this whole thing off, and it's really easy to put back on, so that is a positive, even though it wasn't supposed to be like that. Because of the epoxy, I haven't even tried to screw the two legs in at the bottom. Because it came off at the top, I wasn't going to bother. I'm not going to try it. Another thing that worked perfectly is the actual charging ports. Apart from this falling in, the little extension lead I made to go to the actual charger works wonderfully. I've had no problems with that. And I'm going to get a male connector for this. I just haven't got around to it, so I just use croc clips on that. In one of the videos with this, I said about making it able to recharge, and then I ended up breaking the actual bit I needed for it. And I said if anyone could give me a laptop, I'd really appreciate it. And I just thought, you know, people might think about it, probably won't. And instantly I got an email from a guy who said, you can have a laptop. I got an old one that's broken. And he sent me a laptop. His name's Nick, or Nicey Noodles 2 as he's called on YouTube. I've left a link to his YouTube channel in the description, but first off I'd like to say thank you very much for that. That was really appreciated. So that means with the next one I make, the Mark II, I will be able to do the charging port like I wanted. So that's quite cool. Another update on this one that I would like to do is connect a strap to it, so it can actually be hung over your shoulder, so it's just easier to carry around. I might have it so it just sits somewhere down here, so you can actually hold on to it with your arm on the strap, and it will just illuminate in front of you. I still haven't decided whether I'm going to sand down the glass, the perspex, to make it diffuse the light better. I just don't know, because it works absolutely wonderfully. But we shall see. That may be something I do. If I do, I will say. But I'm definitely going to be putting the strap on it, just to make it easier to carry around. The handle's really comfortable, and the placement of the actual buttons and the potentiometer were. Now, I had another friend who I speak to regularly online, and he said he liked the video I did, but if he was to make it, it would be on blind faith, because he doesn't understand any of the bits that go into it and how they work and so on. So I've decided when I do the next 100 watt LED light, which will be rechargeable and all the stuff that I hope this one will be, I'm going to do a step-by-step process, and if there's a sort of component that needs explaining, I will either explain it there and then, or might do a little mini series where you can click on a thing and it will take you somewhere else and just explain what it does and how it does it and why it does it, and then you can get back on. A bit like translating a foreign thing with a dictionary, that kind of effect where you have to keep going back and checking something and then back into it. I honestly don't know. But I did some videos using this at night. I did one in a lane, and then I took it to the beach tonight. I wasn't going to actually do any recording, but I thought, well, I've got it here, I'll do some more. Both times it was gale force winds, so what I'll have to do is just do music over the top or whatever, just to show you what it's like. You don't need to hear me ranting on either anyway. But that's about it. That's all I've got to say about this. I'm well happy with it. It works perfectly to what I need. The next one I build, I'm probably going to make it very water resistant, so I'm not so worried about taking it out in the pouring rain and that kind of thing. But if there's anything you'd like me to put on it, or any ideas you've got, please just leave me a comment. I'll put on the videos of me using it now to see what it's like. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon.